What's up? A to Z Sports Live on another Titan game day as the Titans are hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars, so the AFC South Division rival in town for the first time this year. These two teams will play, and the Titans have a lot on the line as they continue to look forward to clinching the AFC South, and the Jags have upset on their minds as Trevor Lawrence is going to be a go today with his toe injury against the Tennessee Titans, and the Titans without a lot of big names, and the first game without the big name of GM John Robinson after being fired on Tuesday. Zach, I think we're going to learn a lot about this Titans team today. Mike Vrabel said crossroads a week ago, 7 days up in Philly, and we'll figure out which direction the Titans take on that crossroad after the firing of John Robinson. Saw Amy Adams Strunk, owner, in town for the game at Nissan Stadium. So we've got that video all over our social media already. But we're going to have a big time show here, pregame, halftime, and postgame on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. This is the Titan Game Day Live pregame show presented and powered by Buddy Allen Carpet One, always giving you free in-home measures and estimates at BuddyAllenCarpet1Nashville.com for the Buddy Allen Carpet One pregame show. Also want to thank our great sponsors for Titan Game Day Live throughout the season. Mr. Good Roof. You go to MrGoodRoof.com. You get them out to your house for a free estimate on your roof. Then when you mention A to Z Sports, you get $500 off a full roof replacement at MrGoodRoof.com. BARTON Insurance Group, Middle Tennessee's premier insurance provider for both personal home and auto coverage and small to mid-sized businesses. BARTON Insurance Group, LLC.com. Crumble cookies made fresh every day. You need to download that Crumble Cookie app and make that a part of your stocking stuffers this holiday season. Crumble Cookie app right there. And of course, BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app. Use our code ATOZ Sports. Get a risk-free bet on pro football up to $1,000 with your first bet. I'm Austin Stanley, Zach Bingham here on this Sunday. Zach, it's a gloomy day in Nashville. It's been a gloomy day in Nashville for like the last 10 days, it feels like. But the Titans have a game where they've got to get a win, and we're going to learn a lot about this team in a very strange circumstance with Amy Adams Strunk firing GM John Robinson mid-season with a 3-game lead in the AFC South, and the Jags are in town. Welcome in.
Yeah, well, it's a strange game, honestly, because you have all the things that happened earlier this week with John Robinson, and then you have the Titans at, as Mike Vrabel said, a crossroads after losing back-to-back games against the Bengals and getting dismantled by the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly last week. They've got a Jags team that, they're still hungry. The Jags are not quitting. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence they're not like, packing it up for the season. He is actually going to push. And if you saw last week in Detroit, push that toe that was pushed a little too far, in Detroit last week against the Lions. He's going to try to upset the Titans. And this is a big game for the Titans. They're 7-5 right now. You go to 7-6, then you play on the road in LA against a desperate Chargers team that plays the Dolphins tonight on Sunday Night Football. You don't know what's going to happen. And you can't allow what has gone on and occurred earlier this week to completely influence you in a negative way against the Jags. The Titans are a better football team. They're a more experienced football team. They're a better coached football team. They should go in and handle business. But these are the type of games that we've seen before against the Jags. I mean, they've beaten the Jags pretty handily over the last couple of years, but that was more because of the Jags having problems. Before that, they used to split with the Jags every year, right? They would just have this weird loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars that didn't make a lot of sense. You can't afford to have that weird loss today because Jacksonville, they always love to – there's a rivalry there. I mean, there's been that for some time. There's a lot of divisional football today in the NFL, and this is a big game in Nashville, especially with Amy Adams Strunk in town. She didn't do a press conference, but she's on the field, which I thought was pretty creative.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike Vrabel did say Wednesday that she would be in town Friday and talk to the team Friday during that practice session. But also Amy Adams Strunk did do that sit-down interview with Teresa Walker, the Associated Press. I'm sure that's something that we'll dive into throughout the week. But, yeah, the Jags have upset on their mind because the Titans are banged up. There's a lot of injuries all over the place. there's no Traylon Burke today with the concussion. There's no Trey Avery. He's also out in the secondary. Christian Fulton can't go with his groin injury. There's no Danico Autry for the third consecutive game. And so the Titans, David Long goes on injured reserve. And that's, David Long tweeted out that heartbreak emoji on Saturday when he went on injured reserve. And you get to thinking, you wonder what that means for David Long, who has been one of the flashiest, biggest playmakers on this Titans defense over the last, really consistent throughout the year. And the Jags, because the Titans have lost the last couple of games, the Jags have a sliver of hope that they can try to steal the AFC South. The Colts are a disaster. The Titans are in a crossroads, literally, as Mike Vrabel said. The Titans still have a great opportunity and like a 90% chance to win the division, but the Jags know they've got 2 games against this team, including the Week 18 matchup in Jacksonville. If the Jags can beat the Titans today, man, you never know what could happen in Week 18 as Jacksonville is trying to do something under first-year head coach Doug Peterson. So, Zach, something I think we're going to learn about this team today for the Titans is what direction do they go in? Because I think we all understand what the problems are with this Titans offense. The offensive line is basically a group of saloon doors. They're not protecting Ryan Tannehill. The pass catchers are not consistently available because of injuries. Burke's now out with a concussion after making some significant plays the few weeks before after returning from his toe injury. And then Derrick Henry has not been effective in the run game over the last month of the season after having a phenomenal October. So what do the Titans do offensively with a depleted wide receiver group in a Jags defense that has been scored on a lot, and Derrick Henry with a chance to say, hey, he's owned this franchise, his hometown franchise from Yulee, Florida. Can Derrick Henry bounce back, and can the Titans be carried by 22 to a must-win game in a big-time game and matchup today at Nissan Stadium?
Well, and this is the tough situation, Austin, because Amy Adams Strunk fired John Robinson, I believe, because the Titans offense is a one-trick pony. That's all. All they have is Derrick Henry. And when that horse is in the stable, which he kind of has been, literally, defenses have been holding him to uncharacteristic Derrick Henry-like numbers in the month of November. Now, and trickling into December because of last week, he didn't have a very good game last week either. You sit there, and if you're one-trick pony offense, you don't have anything else. Now, we all know that when Derrick Henry is running at an all-time high and gaining 100-plus yards and sometimes 200-plus yards, then this is a completely different offense, and the Titans are truly tough to beat. But every single team that faces Tennessee from here on out is just going to body up and try to stop 22, because now we've seen the recipe. We know how to stop the Tennessee Titans. I mean, it's I want to say it's simple, but
yeah,
it's pretty simple on paper.
Yeah, it's insanely simple on paper. Now, it's harder to stop 22, who's every bit of 6'4", 260 pounds and can still run and still has a lot of ability. But, the offensive line has been putrid. But again, like, we also know this about Derrick Henry. He eats against AFC South opponents. He usually averages 1,000 yards a season in his 6 AFC South games over the last couple of years, and is a massive opportunity for Derrick Henry to prove that the king is not washed. And I don't think people who pay attention to the Titans think that Derrick Henry is washed at age 29, but I do believe there's a growing amount of people around the league who don't pay close attention, that look at Derrick Henry's production the last month and say, man, 29, he's coming off the injury. He's hitting a wall. He's not had that big touchdown run all season. And they're questioning Derrick Henry's ability. And this is an opportunity for Derrick Henry to say, screw that, and plow through the Jags defense like he has been for the majority of his career. So, Zach,
but Austin, if that doesn't happen?
If that doesn't happen, then bet the under. I don't know where. Like,
I think you can probably do that anyway.
Yeah, right. But we're all hammer the under if you think that Derrick Henry will not be able to break through. But we're at that spot where the Titans, you're asking who's going to score touchdowns, like who can put up points for this team, and not even touchdowns. Who can help them convert first downs? Again, like, Zach, we didn't talk about this because you were in Dallas last week. But the Greg Olsen comment during the second half of the Eagles game has continued to have been burned into my mind where, man, this team's just not built to play from 3rd and 8. And me and Sam talking about, I was like, it's 3rd and 8. It's not 3rd and 18. It's 3rd and 8. They're not built to do that. So again, if Derrick Henry gets stuffed, what can this team do? So Zach, let's go ahead.
Wait. I got to respond to that.
Okay.
My Greg Olsen comment wasn't that. It was when he said maybe they should just pack it up. 9 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. That's literally what Greg Olsen was like. Well, because everybody knows when you get that far behind. And I think the Eagles showed if you have dynamic players around your quarterback, like Smith, like Brown, like Miles Sanders, then you can be multiple on offense. But the Titans, one trick pony. There's 3 words for 1 word that needs to happen. And if that pony's not running, then I think you're dead in the water.
A guy says, man, I lost all faith and trust in this team. I think as long as Mike Vrabel is the head coach on the sideline, you should walk into a game thinking that Mike Vrabel can figure out how to win. Not every time is going to happen. And he gets blown out by the Eagles and the Bills this year, but you go into those games where Mike Vrabel can figure things out. And let's also remember the Jacksonville Jaguars are not a good football team. They are 4-8. Are they dangerous? Absolutely. But they're not a good football team. So this is a game the Titans absolutely have to win. So now let's get to our first question and get all you guys more involved on this Titan Game Day Live. This is the Buddy Allen Carpet One pregame show. What's the single most important thing for the Titans going into this game versus the Jags? What is the single most important thing for the Titans going into this game against the Jacksonville Jaguars? Zach and I will get to your comments here streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. This is the Buddy Allen Carpet One pregame show. So let me tell you guys about Buddy Allen Carpet One. They are locally owned and operated, and that's for 55 years running by the Allen family. And you can walk into the store right there off of Donaldson Road and see Zach, Jenna, and Judson in that store every day. Somebody's there, and Buddy Allen Carpet One always offers you free in-home measures and estimates. They're a full-service flooring company. So whatever flooring you need, it's got Buddy Allen Carpet One. It's got that carpet in the name there. But whatever your flooring needs are, Buddy Allen Carpet One can take advantage of that. They have experienced flooring work done by their certified installers and experts that saves you money because they do it all in-house. They don't outsource to anybody else at any point in the process. It's all right there with Buddy Allen Carpet One. Again, locally owned and operated. Buddy Allen Carpet One, Nashville.com. Go get yourself a free in-home measure and estimates for your floors in your home. Buddy Allen Carpet One, Nashville.com. What is the single most important thing for the Titans going into this game against the Jags? Zach, I will send you to the chat.
Yeah, so touchdowns instead of field goals. Kyle, very eloquently, that's football 101.
But that's been something the Titans haven't been able to do. Like, when's the last time the Titans have had a red zone
game?
When's the last time the Titans have had a red zone touchdown?
Weeks. Plural.
Yeah, weeks, because the Traylon Burks fumble on the screen to Derrick Henry 2 games ago, and Traylon Burks 25 yards outside the red zone against the Eagles. They've struggled in the red zone.
Moving the ball from Nicholas, run blocking from David, converting third downs from that boy Tree, putting pressure on Trevor somehow. Talking about Trevor Lawrence, effective run/pass blocking, no dumb penalties coming in from Ken. Henry simply from Alex, momentum from Dion, O-line production from Lane, coaching from Sheila, sacking Trevor Lawrence from Brent Woods, early lead coming in there from Yama. You've got converting third downs. You've got the offensive line, lay down the law just by Matt Moyes, just lay down the law, focus and stick to the plan. And I think Sell Too Real actually kind of brings up what mine is, and that is stick to the plan. We've done one trip pony, run the ball. That's the plan, right? So stick to the plan. I agree with that. The plan is running Derrick Henry. The problem is when that plan gets diverted, that's when problems start to happen and they start to occur. And so we know the recipe to a win. Mm-hmm. We know a recipe to a loss. The recipe to a win starts with 22. So I do believe that is the key matchup for the Titans against the Jags is establishing 22, and it doesn't necessarily have to be running the football. You've got to utilize screens a little bit more. You've got to be creative. You've got to use play action, right? That's the mystery. Derrick Henry's good at running the football, but he also can be an optical illusion in the passing game to set up more wide receivers for what they have, or tight ends for what they have.
Yeah.
But that's what I would say. It's stick to the plan and run 22.
Okay, I like that. I like the optical illusion aspect of this. Derrick Henry's over-under total for receiving yards today at BetMGM is 12.5. That's minus 120 for the over, minus 120 for the over on that. I don't think that's a bad option there because they have to get more people involved in the passing game, and with no
Derrick Henry's your best player. He's not your best pass catcher. He's probably close, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But he's the guy that can get you big chunk plays. Austin, who else can get big chunk plays?
Well, and
he's a rookie, and that's, every once in a while. Besides that, the consistency, Robert Woods is not going to do it. Hooper's not going to do it. There's no, NWI sometimes, but there's not a good guy.
No. And like the receivers, Sam sent out a tweet yesterday at A to Z Sports on Twitter. And it was just the receivers that are active today of Robert Woods, NWI, Chris Conley, and Racey McMath.
They're back in the same spot they were last year at this time. Literally.
It's worse though.
No, it's not worse.
It's not. Well, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. Des Fitzpatrick is still on the practice squad, and they have better options than Des Fitzpatrick.
It's not better by much, but it's not worse.
You're right. You're right. It is not. It is definitely not as bad as it was last year at this point. So
that was without Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So do you, Zach, and Chig, by the way, leads all NFL tight ends. There's tied for the lead in all NFL tight ends of receptions of 40 yards or more. How about
There's not enough of that, though.
I know.
That's a good stat if he had a really dynamic offense around him. And it's like, whoa, but he's the only guy.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, that's insane. Like Chigakonkwo has been such a minimal part of the Titans offense this season, yet he's still tied for the NFL lead with tight ends of 40 plus yard catches with 3. And those have all happened within like the last 4 games. Ever going, I guess, technically dating back to the Sunday night game against the Chiefs, which was ironically, Zach, the point you're making, the last time that Derrick Henry was effective. So I guess back on the Derrick Henry thing, can they accomplish this? Can they execute? Because in the 3 AFC South games the Titans have played this season, they're 3-0 in those. And Derrick Henry has run for 114, 128, and 219. Now, I think the Colts' performance was insanely impressive, both of them, for Derrick Henry in the run game, because that Colts defense early in the year was still pretty good. The Houston defense, where he ran for 219, is the worst defense in the NFL, and even worse when it comes to stopping the run, and Derrick Henry did what he does. Can he do the same thing against the Jags? Because I don't even know if he's combined for 219 yards in the last 4 weeks. And so, I question his ability. Well, not Derrick Henry's ability. I question the Titans' offensive lines and the overall game plan's ability to get Derrick Henry involved. So, Zach, my one thing the Titans have to do in this game, live here on the Buddy Allen Carpet One pregame show, I'm going to flip it to defense, and I'm going to give a hat tip to our managing editor of A to Z Sports.com, Evan Winter, for finding this. The Tennessee Titans in the secondary, the key thing is stay disciplined. They have to stay disciplined in the secondary against Trevor Lawrence in this passing game. How about this? This officiating crew calling the Titans-Jags game today, they call defensive pass interference on deep balls twice the rate of the league average. How about that? Twice the rate of the league average. So there's a lot you have to expect to be frustrated and pissed off that there's going to be defensive pass interference calls down the field. And the Jags throw deep down the field 14th most in the NFL. So it's not like they do that all the time, but they have the ability to push the ball down the field as a part of their offense. And there's no Christian Fulton today. Trey Avery, who has really grown and risen up to be somebody who you can rely on this defense, which is crazy to say, is unavailable as well today too. So you're going to roll out there with Roger McCreary as your top corner. Then you're going to just piece together. Greg Maben's back on the active roster today. So it feels like he's been around for the last 3 years. So that's a big deal of, can you stay disciplined down the field? Because giving the Jags a 40-yard penalty could be crushing to what this defense is going to have today.
Yeah, it's giving a bad offense more opportunity. And, the Jags offense averages over 230 passing yards per game. Some of that is playing from behind. Some of that is strategy. And look for this today as well, because I've watched a number of Jags games throughout the season. I don't know why.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, it's just a part of loving football. But what Doug Peterson does very well this year that I don't think they did a very good job last year under Urban Meyer, but they roll him out and they get Trevor Lawrence in space. You're going to see, I would say, a minimum of 4 to 5 naked bootlegs.
Can he though? What's the toe like?
That's where he throws well.
Yeah, no, but
in the pocket, he's not good.
And I think everybody stubbed their toe really bad where you're like, I can't, I have to walk.
Well, they wouldn't put him out there if he literally can't move. I don't think that. I have not seen him pregame warm up. So,
yeah.
But, he didn't practice this week. So that's a huge caveat, is because that's what their offense does. They get their wide receivers running across the field, using the sidelines to their advantage and getting Trevor Lawrence in space, because he does have quickness. He may not have as much quickness now because of that toe, but this Jags offense is going to be confined if he cannot move whatsoever, because this is what he does. This is the other thing that I've noticed from the Jags offense this year.
Mm-hmm.
When he's in the pocket and pressure is around him and in front of him, he usually tends to sail the football. It's not low, it's high. And so maybe that's an opportunity for KB-31 to get a pick from an overthrow. But those are kind of the nuances that I've noticed with the Jags offense and watching Jacksonville this year. I don't know what the toe, though. It's an effective measure that I don't know how they're going to deal with.
And what foot is it on? Because I went to 3 reports just now, and it doesn't say which foot. Like the Jags it just says toe. It doesn't say right or left. But I think that's important because of, is it his drive foot with his back foot or a step forward? I would think if it's his back foot, which would be his right, then that would be more of a hindrance on his ability to push the ball down the field. But it is important there. And, again, I want to reiterate this stat here. This referee crew calls deep ball defensive pass interference at twice the rate of the league average. And let's also remember, their rate affects the league average. So if you remove this group from the league average, how much bigger of a difference would it be? And Orlando says he believes it is the right foot. So the toe on the right foot for Trevor Lawrence. So we'll have to see how that impacts Trevor Lawrence and his mobility.
Well, he got rolled up multiple times against the, I'm not 100% sure what foot it is, but he got rolled up like 3 to 4 times that were like, dang. One of those that make you grimace just watching it. So, we'll find out we'll find out here very shortly.
Injury Twitter basically said that Trevor Lawrence, all the injury Twitter docs came out and said that Lawrence was tearing his ACL and stuff, which obviously was not the case. So, and you mentioned Kevin Byard, who's had a quiet season this year, but Kevin Byard's had a quiet season this year because Kevin Byard's having a good season. People are staying away from 31 there. So we'll see if KB can have an impact, because if you remember when the Titans played at Jacksonville last year, KB had that fumble return for a touchdown in the first quarter that helped the Titans run away.
So here it is. And I found the report that I was looking for. And I found it because I saw a picture that I can put it up on screen here in a second. It's his left foot, his left toe. And Doug Peterson recognized that this week. So it's not his right, it's his left. And he got rolled up, as I said, multiple times. Let's see if I can load this picture, because I was looking through our images. This was resonating with me. Look at that right there. That's not comfortable.
No.
Right there on his left foot. So regardless, that happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Titans defense, I'm not saying go after it, but you got to know which toe it is.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt about that. A to Z Sports here live on the Buddy Allen Carpet One pregame show. Buddy Allen Carpet One, Nashville.com for free in-home measures and estimates for your new flooring. But it is time, Zach, to talk about who's got the goods, who's got the good matchup today for the Titans. And it is a depleted roster for the Titans today. So I've got a guy that I think needs to have a big performance for the Titans to help them beat the Jags to get one step closer to clinching the AFC South. And who's got the goods is presented by Mr. Good Roof. They specialize in roofing, gutters, windows, and more. Fully licensed, insured, and bonded. Go to MrGoodRoof.com. Get them out to your home. Have them do a free estimate on your roof. It's literally free. There's no sweat off your back to have somebody like Mr. Good Roof come out to your house and say, hey, do you need any work done on your roof? And the answer could be no, which is fine. No sweat. The answer could be yes. And then you tell them A to Z Sports sent you, and you get a $500 discount on a full roof replacement just because you watch A to Z Sports and you call Mr. Good Roof. So MrGoodRoof.com is where to go. They also have the last week of the Shingle Bells for Veterans Mr. Good Roof giveaway every year. This is the 6th year they've done it. They're giving away a free entire roof to a veteran of Sumner County. If you have a veteran of Sumner County you want to nominate, go to MrGoodRoof.com to have that nomination. They're accepting those nominations through December 15th. So you got a few days left at MrGoodRoof.com. So Zach, my opinion, with no Burks, with just a very depleted, athletic, explosive offensive roster today, I think Dontrell Hilliard needs to be a focus in the passing game. And I do think what we talked about at the top of Derrick Henry being able to carry this team is very important. But Dontrell Hilliard has 4 touchdown catches this season. I think Dontrell Hilliard needs to be a weapon that the Titans use on offense to help make this offense more explosive. He's probably the quickest, fastest guy out there. The combo of quick and fast. I know Racey McMath is back for his season debut. He's got straight line speed, but he hasn't played football in 3 months. So I think Dontrell Hilliard needs to be treated like a slot receiver today and be used as a weapon from Todd Downing to get some creativity and explosive plays from the offense. I say Dontrell Hilliard can do it today because the Jags, they give up plays in the secondary and in the pass game as well.
I don't mind. I like that matchup. I like that. I like that goods.
Yeah.
You know what's embarrassing though?
What's
Austin? That? Dontrell Hilliard leads this team in receiving touchdowns. The backup running back that doesn't see all of the playing time leads the team in receiving touchdowns by 2, with NWI and Austin Hooper trailing him.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
And NWI.
That's why John Robinson's ass got fired.
No.
This is just what it is. That stat that I just read off is the reason why John Robinson is watching from his house today and not in that stadium.
I don't know if he's watching today.
He's hard to watch. He's watching. He's a guarantee 100% he's watching. But that statistic is why Amy Adams Strunk fired him. Your backup running back is leading the team in receiving touchdowns and just edging the honestly crap-ass tight end that is Austin Hooper that has been all season. He's got less than 300 yards receiving. He's back locked up. And NWI, who is a 4th at best, number 4 wide receiver in an adequate offense. Those 2 guys have 2 touchdowns apiece. Your backup running back has 4 receiving touchdowns.
I'm gonna take this a step further to just make it feel even worse. And John Robinson, if he is watching our show today in the Titans game, then you gotta wonder how he's going.
I'm facts. I'm not.
Sure. How about this? How about this? Dontrell Hilliard is the only Titans player to have a receiving touchdown in more than 1 game this year. NWI had 2, both of his against the Broncos. Austin Hooper, both of his against the Packers. Dontrell Hilliard's the only guy who's caught a touchdown in multiple games this season. It's not like this is like early October. This is we are 2 weeks from Christmas Day right now. And only one guy, the backup running back, has caught a touchdown pass in multiple games. That is absolutely wild. But we are like 3 or 4 minutes away from kickoff, Zach. So let's do it. Let's get to our actual predictions, our pregame predictions here on the show, presented by BetMGM. The Titans have been favored this week, the whole week. Right now it's at 3.5. They got up to 4. Titans -4 early in the week, but now Titans -3.5. Presented by BetMGM. Your pregame predictions, you can get a risk-free bet on pro football for today's game up to $1,000 on the BetMGM app. When you download that app, use our code ATOZ Sports. You make your first deposit, and then boom, unlock that risk-free bet on pro football up to $1,000. You can use it for today's game if you want to. Tennessee favored by 3.5 at home. Zach, I'll send you to the chat. Pregame predictions as we're getting closer and closer to kickoff at Nissan Stadium.
There we go. We got 20-14, 16-10, low scoring from Jacob. 38-10 from Eric. I don't know where they're going to get those 38 points from. Maybe Dontrell Hilliard. Don says 27-17. Chance says Titans by 7. 17-10 from Robert. 35. Dalton, I'm curious where they're going to get that 35 from. Maybe Dontrell Hilliard. Clayton says 17-14. 17-10 from Dat Boy Tree. Guy says 27-17. Hate to say it. Jags. Oh, wow. Now that's a surprise. If that's 27-17, that would surprise me. I have my prediction. I have it. It is locked in. 21-17 Titans. The Titans win this game because Amy Adams Strunk, their owner, told them that they can't do it. Usually that type of stuff motivates Mike Vrabel type teams. So I believe that the Titans will win. I'm not going to give them 30-plus points. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think that they have the horses to do that. I think they can score 21. I do think that they can win by 4 points, which would cover the spread. The Titans win today in spite of all the things that have been said. Derrick Henry has a good game in spite of everybody doubting him. And I think they come out here, set a tone, and control the game. I think it could be like, if it's 21-17, it could be 21-10 in the fourth quarter where the Jags, have
late
scored
touchdown.
A touchdown. But I expect this to be, a multi-score game differential, maybe until the end where they close the gap.
All right, Zach. The Titans haven't scored more than 16 points in 3 weeks. The Titans score 16 points today. They lose to the Jags 17-16. Jags win in Nashville for the first time since 2013. I don't like where this team's headed. I don't think they can run the ball. I don't think they can throw the ball. But they're going to get the ball to start the game. So we'll figure out what this offense looks like with Derrick Henry. Guys, we appreciate you guys watching as always for the Buddy Allen Carpet One Nashville.com pregame show. We will see you at halftime on these same channels, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Enjoy the first half. Talk to you soon.